So this video is going to be a wee bit different. And by that I mean it's going to be talking about music. I usually haven't really done a lot of music videos on here, mostly because, but sometimes it never hurts to go out of your comfort zone. So here we are. I've always wanted to do a video like this. I've always wanted to talk about it, but I never, gave it a lot of thought. I never really had time to, and then I was like, you know what, I'm just sitting here, I'm not doing anything important, yeah. So I decided finally, today's the day, I'm gonna do the video I always wanted to do, and that is talk about my 10 favorite bands. So, and as an added bonus, I'm gonna talk about where I first heard them, where I first heard them, and I don't know, maybe talk about favorite albums or some shit. I don't fucking know. I'm also drinking a little bit of coffee liquor. It's my dessert. I actually do this wonderful thing. It was actually a work of art, actually, where I actually put in two Swiss rolls in there to let it soak in there. I mixed it with Snickers ice cream. It's actually really good. Although I do think the soda to coffee liquor ratio is very off. Yeah. Anyway, so let's get started with this. Let's get started now. Oh, one more thing before I go any further. This video is not, and I repeat, not a top 10 list. These may be my 10 favorite bands, but they're in no way, shape, or form ranked. These are this is just my 10 favorite bands. The last one on here isn't, and this is just my personal opinion. These are just I'm not saying these are the top bands of all time. I'm just saying this is just where they stand for me. This is generally where they stand, and this is where I have them. You know, so so yeah. And as always, let me know in the comments below what your 10 favorite bands are. I'm always excited. So, without further ado, let's get started with this video, starting off with one of my, probably the first major band I really fell in love with. And so this is going to sound a little basic bitch, but whatever. Metallica. Metallica really opened my world up to, it really opened my world up to, music in general. When I first heard Enter Sandman, I was a dumb kid. And I listened to that, and then I fell down a hole of metal. That sounds like a song, like a metal song in of itself. Hole of metal! And from there, it just kind of spiraled out of control in my taste in music. Metallica, I know, is kind of everyone's kind of starting point as a kid growing up. If you want to listen to metal, that's your, a lot of people on here, I'm probably going to see on here, yeah, Metallica was my first two. And, yeah, so it always stood on there. Is Metallica the greatest band ever? That's up for debate. But I will say, I'm always excited for a new Metallica album. I'm really excited for this new one coming out. I really liked Hardwired to Self-Destruct. I really like that one. And I will admit that yes, Saint Anger and Death Magnetic are not great, but I don't hate the Black Album. I don't hate. Reload. Reload is fine, but I don't have a vehement hate for a lot of Metallica albums. I'm in the there's according to a lot of people, there's 3 tiers of Metallica fans. The first tier is Metallica was only good up until everything past Metallica is. Everything up. Okay, sorry, I got confused. Alcohol's hitting me. Let me try this again. The first tier is every Metallica fan thinks every song is perfect no matter what. Then you have tier 2, which is me, which is yeah, Metallica hasn't really had a oh my god, this is amazing album since Master of Puppets, but we can accept that. And then there's tier 3 who will only listen to only songs up to Master of Puppets and refuse to listen to anything else after that. I'm on tier 2. So there you go. Anyway, so Metallica is our first one. Next up is Ice Nine Kills. To the shock of no one, Ice Nine Kills is one of my favorite bands ever. It was actually where I first heard Ice Nine Kills. Was I was doing a video with Sid Part 2 and Steve Baxi. And we were doing a video for Halloween on a character study for Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. And Bax and Steve actually brought up a song called Me, Myself, and Hyde, and I was very curious, and I listened to it, and I listened to it a few more times, and then, you have to understand, this is before the Silver Scream came out. This was, like, right after Every Trick in the Book had come out. So I was listening to the songs, and this was really cool. And it wasn't until, like, a few months later when then the Silver Scream came out, and I'm actually very fortunate to be part of, you know, the fandom before it broke out with the Silver Scream, and then really kicked in the door. The band really kicked in the door with Welcome to Horrorwood. The band is awesome. And I love a band with a gimmick. I really enjoy a band with a good gimmick. And if you're going to do songs about horror movies, you've got my attention. So, Ice Nine Kills. Moving on now to Tool. Yeah, I don't think I've ever talked about Tool, but I fucking love Tool. Don't worry, I'm not one of the elitist fans who thinks there are no, like, you know, there's only us and Tool and no other and nothing else. That's not me. I really enjoy Tool. I would say my favorite album is, I know a lot of people say Lateralis, and I like Lateralis, but I will say my favorite album is Schism. That's my favorite album from them. I first heard Tool a long time ago, and I didn't appreciate it. I didn't appreciate it first, but then I went back to it a few years later, and was like, damn, there's such a great meaning to it. There's great meaning to these songs. I just love it's great music to zone out to. Just put on a Tool playlist when you're going down the road for like 2 hours of nothing, and trust me, Tool will definitely help you out. It's great. Like there's some great songs. A lot of the songs I really like, I can't repeat here. And if you know your Tool, then you know which songs I'm talking about. So Tool, there you go. Anyway, so there we go, our first three, and we're getting interesting now. So next up for the next one on our list, remember, this isn't a numbered list. I was just like, oh yeah, this is the fourth band on this slot. And that's Slipknot. I have been a maggot since high school, and I know that's such a generic thing to say, but when I first heard Wait and Bleed, I know that's every Slipknot fan's intro to the band, but that's how I heard it. Wait and Bleed. It was something savage. It was something just gnarly, and it was amazing. Now, yeah, I don't hate All Hope Is Gone as much as most people do. But I don't hate it, and I think there is some good in All Hope Is Gone, but I definitely enjoy it. It was definitely, and also I appreciate it a lot more now that we no longer have Joey or Paul with us anymore. I definitely have a lot more appreciation for it. That whole discography I really love. I even love the new album. I think my favorite album though from them, and this is going to be such a divisive thing to say, but I think my favorite album from them is The Gray Chapter. I think that's my not The Gray Chapter is my favorite album from them. I know that's such a heretical thing to say, but like, I think there's some definite brutality there, and it's definitely the band working out some shit after Paul had died. So, I think it's very underrated too. But I will say that the following album is also a close one, but if I was to say, I might do, if this does well, I might do like an album ranking for Slipknot. I don't know how many Slipknot fans I have on here. It'll be fun to find out though. So now we're at the halfway point. So one of my another one of my favorite bands is Sabaton. I love Sabaton. I heard them long ago, before they made like a big name for themselves. Actually, it's kind of funny. The first song I heard from them was Primo Victoria, and it was on some Naruto music video. I was just bumble fucking around on YouTube in the early days, And then I heard "To the Gates of Hell, to the Way of Heaven." No, wait, yeah, "Through the Gates of Hell to the Way to Heaven" or something, and it was a holy shit moment. And then I listened to the whole song, and I'm like, this is so cool. And I've stuck with the band ever since my high school years. I didn't even realize that, the gimmick is they're singing about, like, wars and stuff. Until, like, I thought Primo Victoria was just one song they did. And then I listened to others, like, oh, it's a whole thing. Awesome. Fun fact, I have learned more about history from Sabaton than I ever did in school. That says something about our American educational system. But we're not ready to have that conversation today. So yeah, Sabaton. I know they're huge now, but I've been there since they were since when they were when they were just opening for stuff. Anyway, so there you go. We're halfway through. So you're probably wondering how many fucking other bands are there. Well, let's move on to our next one with Ghost. Ghost was a band I'd always kind of satellited around because I'm like, I like the gimmick, but I don't understand it. I didn't understand it. And then I listened to Prequelle. That album made me go, oh, this is awesome. And then I went back and appreciated the albums more. I definitely have more appreciation for the other albums that came before. I definitely I have a lot more love for those albums. Now that I understand the gimmick. And yeah, Prequelle was, I think, a lot of people in this new era of Ghost, that's where they came in, of listening to Prequelle, and then the Lumera and others. I think it's a lot of fun. I think the band is a lot of fun. Yeah, and to quote Rocked, they're a satanic band as much as a Satan worshiper is at Spirit at Halloween. That's the best way to describe them. They're fun, it's Scooby-Doo music, and I still want Ghost to be in a Scooby-Doo episode. If that never happens, that will just be such the biggest loss ever. So, moving on. Now, the next one isn't so much a band, but a person. And this one's, I know I've been talking about oh yeah, metal and stuff. But this one's going to be a little more off the yellow brick road, so to speak. Phil Collins. Yeah, I love Phil Collins. Shut up. That's all I can say is Phil Collins. I like Phil Collins. It's a definite breakaway from my other stuff because he's a genius when it comes to music. Also, yes, my family's always listened to Phil Collins and Genesis and all that, but I didn't have a appreciation for Phil Collins till, surprise, Tarzan, the Tarzan soundtrack. I think he has got some great music. My favorite song from him is Easy Lover. It's a bop, man. I don't know what to tell you. It's a bop. I might go listen to that after I do this video. Who knows? Anyway, so yeah, Phil Collins. I find it I wonder how many people are oh, I wonder what's the next metal band or whatever, and Phil Collins. What? Hey man, he's got some really good songs. How many covers have you heard of In the Air Tonight? Why? Because it's a really fucking good song, that's why. Yeah. So there you go. So we've done 7. Next up is Poets of the Fall. You've probably never heard of these guys, which is tragic because these guys are really awesome. Poets of the Fall is a band from the Netherlands, and you probably have heard them more from the Max Payne soundtrack, as well as the Alan Wake games, where they went by the name Old Gods of Asgard. That's probably where you've heard them the most. This band is more like an alt-rock band, where it's more about these kind of darker tone, not more upbeat tones. There's some great rock to it, and the lead singer, holy shit, you need to hear him sing just on that. I found the band by accident. I stumbled upon them listening to Locking Up the Sun, and I was like, oh, where have these guys been all my life? And I always go back to them. And it sucks because I can never find anyone who likes these guys. It really is a travesty for me. So, yeah. So, yep, that was our 8th one. Now moving on to one of my other favorite bands, Breaking Benjamin. I know, Breaking Benjamin. This is always a band that I have always loved since high school years. I mean, yes, Matoria is the GOAT, and so is Hybrid Theory. And yes, I did weep when Chester was no longer a part of this world. I don't think I need to say much on Linkin Park. Shit. I think my brain tumbled because that was going to be my last one was Linkin Park, and then I was talking about Breaking Benjamin. I'll just talk about Linkin Park now. Ta-da! Anyway, so yeah, Linkin Park. I know some people are gonna like watch this video and go, "He was talking about Breaking Benjamin. Why did he go into why did he talk about Linkin Park?" Well, now you know why. And I'm not stopping this video and re-editing it, so we're just gonna chug along. Linkin Park was always a band that I had stuck with since high school years, and again, we all know, yes, Matoria, Hybrid Theory, they're all great. Chester was no longer with us, and it's just, and again, I did hear the new the EP from Matoria, and I did tear up when I heard Lost. Fucking sue me. Anyway, so finally, yes, Breaking Benjamin. Breaking Benjamin is another band I always enjoy. I first heard them, like everyone else, from the soundtrack of Halo 2. And I've been with the band since high school. Ben's lead vocals are just amazing. I think that he's really good at both melodic and heavy tones. And I'm always excited to see when they come out with a new album and whatnot. So there you go. I know we got kind of messed up at the end, but yeah. This is why I shouldn't drink and do videos, but whatever. It's something fun. So you guys tell me in the comments below, what are 10 of your favorite bands / artists on, not in like a top 10, but more like your 10 favorite of all time. Like the 10 you're always like, holy shit, they came out with a new album or EP, I need to listen to it right now. Like that. And also I apologize for being a little tipsy. Makes it fun. I swear I won't do this all the time. In fact, I kind of hate this, but it's too late to not do this video now. Anyway, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.